In this video, I'm going to break down how I helped this e-commerce business generate over $650,000 in sales in the last 30 days using organic content and paid ads. So here we are inside of the live Shopify dashboard. As you guys can see, we're looking at very recent results. I'll quickly refresh just to confirm that it actually is live. You can see here that in the last 30 days, we finished off at $655,000 in sales, and sales are currently up 97% in the last 30 days compared to the previous 30 days. So things are trending in the right direction. Now, here we're looking at overall sales. However, here we are inside of the Triple Whale dashboard. We use Triple Whale to track our paid ads, our performance, and more. And so you can see that in the last 30 days, we spent just shy of $150,000 on ads. From that, we generated $582,000 in sales, and we ended up with a 3.89 return on ad spend. Now, the difference from this $582,000 to the $655,000 that was generated in sales came from organic content. So again, I wanted to highlight that the rest of the revenue came from organic content because that's what this video is going to be all about. So here, I put together this breakdown, and I took the time to put this together after speaking with all of the e-commerce businesses that we work with, reviewing their performance, and then also after having many discussions with other e-commerce businesses that, have inquired to work with us and more. And I discovered that I kept having the same conversation over and over again with e-commerce businesses that were struggling. By struggling, I mean that they were only doing like $300,000 a year in sales or less. And, what I identified is that there was a clear gap between businesses that are doing okay versus e-commerce businesses that are doing better and that are profitable and that are growing and that are doing anywhere from $5 to $10 million per year. And I wanted to kind of break this all down because, how we were able to help this e-commerce business that I just shared was with content and supporting them with content. Now, the main gap that I see that is keeping e-commerce businesses back from doing as well as they could be doing is content. So to be specific, I'm noticing that really e-commerce businesses that are not doing as well, they lack enough time, energy, and resources invested into content that they can use for posting on their social media channels, as well as content that can be used for ads. This is consistently what I'm seeing across the board. And because of that, I noticed that this is also resulting in other components, things like inconsistent sales, over-reliance on one traffic channel, lack of control over their customer acquisition, unclear data and decision-making, low profit margins, and burnout and stress. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, e-commerce businesses that are doing well and they have a big emphasis where they're taking time to invest energy, time, and resources into their content, I'm seeing that they're seeing consistent, predictable revenue. They have an organic and paid traffic system that works. They have full control over their customer acquisition. They have a data-driven growth approach. They have higher profit margins, and they have more freedom and time to scale. And I don't think that this is a coincidence, right? From my experience, really to scale in the e-commerce space, there's many different components. Your product is important. Supply chain is important, but content is very, very important. And so that's what I'm going to cover here. Now, really, there's a couple of different ways that you can go about content. And the way that we support e-commerce businesses that we work with content is by basically reviewing what they're currently doing when it comes to content, looking at how they're going about sourcing and creating content internally, as well as how they're going about sourcing and creating content externally, right? These are really the two main ways to go about content. And, from there, we look at what they're currently doing, and then we look at the gaps and where we can actually support them, either by doing it with them or providing them resources that they can use to actually, create the content, whether it's internally or externally. And so I wanted to walk through, really how we go about supporting brands with creating content and basically exactly what we did for this e-commerce business. So first thing is first, when it comes to internal content creation, this in particular business, they actually happen to already have an internal content creator. And so for them, we didn't have to help them with sourcing and finding an internal content creator because one, the founder created content internally for the brand. And then they also had somebody else that was a social media manager, and their sole responsibility was on creating content on an ongoing basis. So really, all we had to do here is look at their content and look at what's working and what's not working, and just really provide them with additional ideas and directions on, other types of content that they can also create with the content that they were already making, right? So really, I think that every e-commerce business, if possible, you should have the founder creating content. If not, then you should definitely hire an internal content creator. Really what I see is that starting off, you can have very simple content being created, things like product demonstrations, how to explainer videos, behind the scenes, etc. And again, this can be done by either the founder or an internal content creator. Now, in my opinion, if your brand fits perfectly into the world of short form vertical content, then it's worth looking into bringing on a full-time content creator, right? The ROI is 100% there. And so this person, ideally, their sole responsibility should be to be on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook and Instagram Reels all day, just learning, looking at trends, just scouring all these platforms to stay on top of what's currently trending, finding new hooks and angles, creating content, engaging with customers and followers, etc. I believe we will see more brands hiring for this in 2025. And it's also one of the fastest ways to make new ads and constantly get new content and creatives that can help you get more organic reach and eyeballs every single month, and that you can also, again, use for paid ads. And this is very important. So, again, really, when it comes to creating content internally, I think that this is probably one of the best ways to go about it, because you know that you have a consistent stream of content that's going to be created every single week, and you don't have to worry about any inconsistencies. Now, again, the reason why this in particular is business is doing super well is because, again, they take their content very seriously. They literally have, again, internal content creators. They take the time to look at, what content is working well for them organically, what's not working, not only from a views perspective, but also from a sales perspective. So this business also posts content on TikTok Shop. And so obviously on TikTok Shop, you can actually see, like, okay, what videos are getting good engagement, but also what videos are actually driving sales, which is the most important thing. And so they are taking a very data-driven approach, and they are looking at what's actually driving revenue and doubling down on that, whether it's a specific hook or a specific angle, right? So they're taking a very strategic approach, and that's working extremely well. They're also very consistent with their content. They're posting basically every single day on all of their social media channels, and they're basically making sure that they have dedicated days every single week only for recording content, right? So that they're never missing a beat. They always have content scheduled in batches that they can use, basically like weeks in advance. And so, in my opinion, this is what it takes to win, right? That's just really what it takes to win. But yeah, that's basically how, again, this e-commerce business is going about their internal content creation. Again, here we are only supporting with feeding them ideas with new angles, new hooks, and just other things that they can try out with the organic content. Now, another area that we're supporting them on is we're getting them introduced to AI and how they can use AI to create content. So, really how we go about this is we basically kind of give them walkthroughs, usually videos explaining how we personally have been testing out and using AI. And then we basically have them give it a try for themselves, basically taking some of their top performing organic pieces of content and then trying out these AI platforms to see what kind of content it creates for them. And so ideally, there's different kinds of AI content you can create. You can create AI videos, you can create AI static images, you can create AI voiceovers that you can then take and place over like any existing content that you have, like a B-roll content or, any other content that could use voiceovers. And so some of the platforms that, we use for this, HeyGen is one of them. So HeyGen allows you to use these AI avatars, and then you can provide these avatars a script and they can create videos. Here's an example of one that I have. So
E-commerce brands, if you're not using video as your main content strategy, you're leaving money on the table.
So that was just a quick one that I put together right before recording this video, just to kind of show an example of like, what you can put together using AI, right? There's really not much of an excuse right now for not being able to create consistent content for your e-commerce business. Yes, this content, you can tell that it is AI if you take the time to like look deep into the content, but AI is only going to get better from here. So if it's already looking like this, like you can only imagine that as time goes on, it's going to get better. And at the same time, you can actually edit this video. You can actually, there's more, like when you go into the settings, you can actually play around with the videos in terms of like, how aggressive you want them to be with like their motions. And there's a lot that you can do here, right? I literally put this video together without making any edits. This was the first version that I got back, and this is how it looks, right? And so I think there's a lot that you can do here. This is only going to continue to improve, in my opinion. There's actually a really good page on TikTok to just get inspirations from and just see like how things are going to continue to evolve. This page here on TikTok, Lux Health, all this content you see here is all created by AI. It's literally just using like a platform like HeyGen to create all this content. And you can see like they have 440,000 followers, and you can see they're getting consistent views on these videos. And then what they're doing is they're taking all this traffic and they're sending it to their product page that they have here for this in particular product, right? But this is where things are going, right? And so leveraging AI is very important for almost every single business nowadays. It's no matter of like if you want to or not. It's like you need to figure out the best way to leverage AI for your business. And so this is one way that you can do it with videos. This is what we're currently doing with the e-commerce businesses that we work with is we have them at least testing out content with AI, right? And just kind of getting used to using it within the business. For AI audio, so we like to use 11 Labs. Allows you to create AI voiceovers, which you can then look at whatever stock footage you have, like B-roll content or just any kind of videos, and then you can try out different things like a different voiceover and see how that performs. So you can come on 11 Labs. This is a quick preview of like what it can do. So you can put your script in here or your voiceover that you want it to be said, and then
human-like speech in 32 languages. Perfect for audiobooks, video voiceovers, commercials, and more.
It'll say it, right? Sounds great. So then you can then take this voiceover, you can add it onto a video, and now you have a new video that has a new voiceover, which you can try. Sometimes trying out a new video or a new ad can be as simple as trying out a new voiceover and seeing like how that performs versus the existing voiceover that you already had. And so this is one platform that's commonly used. We use it as well. And then for static images, you have a platform like adcreative.ai. This platform allows you to create different ads specifically with static images. And you can create different sizes, different varieties, but it's all done through AI. It's pretty efficient. And so this is one that I've played around with. And so again, what we do is all these AI tools, we just provide trainings and then resources on how to use these platforms. And then we also, leverage these platforms ourselves. So we do a mixture of showing all the businesses we work with, like using these AI platforms, but then also we use them ourselves to create content for the e-commerce businesses that we work with. And so for this in particular business, one of the things that we do is, again, we've already taken the time to train them, but we also create ads for them as well using AI. And so really for internal content, these are the main ways you can go about creating internal content that I have seen to work really well. Of course, there are other ways, but these are some of the main things I wanted to cover quickly here for internal content creation. Now, moving on to external content creation. So there's a couple different ways you can go about it. So ideally for external content creation, this is just content generated by either customers, influencers, or affiliates that then you can leverage for your e-commerce business. So first off, we have UGC, super simple. These are content that come from directly your customers, them sharing like reviews about your products, unboxing videos, and more. Then you have product seeding. So product seeding is super simple. This is just you taking the time to send out your products out to some of your best customers, different content creators who don't have a lot of followers but make good content, influencers or celebrities, editors, bloggers, or even podcasters, and just hoping that they will post your content, right? This is like a hit or miss strategy. If somebody likes your product, they may end up posting it. If they don't, then they probably won't post it. But this is a way that you can get content being sourced. Then we have community-driven content. So, some of the things that you can do is you can have loyalty or referral programs where you incentivize your community to send you content, things like testimonials in exchange for, some kind of reward, right? Whether it's like a coupon or a gift card to your store, whatever. Then you have like live shopping or Q&A sessions. So ideally, one of the things that's done by this e-commerce business is they go live, right? So one of the things that we saw happening on TikTok is like live shopping is like crushing on TikTok. And so, what we do for this e-commerce business is that we share those insights with them, right? We tell them, hey, you guys should be doing live streams on TikTok. And then they go ahead and actually do it. Or if they need to find somebody to do these live streams on TikTok, then we help them find who they can actually have helping them on TikTok to do these live streams, because they definitely work 100%. This is only going to continue to grow as we go on. Then you can do brand challenges and giveaways, right? Incentivizing people to submit these videos to like contests and things like that. And then last but not least, you have agencies, freelancers, or video editors to kind of help with additional content. So, first off, you can work with creative video agencies. You can work with different freelancers that create content or also can help with editing videos, or you can use UGC video platforms, things like, Billo, Trend.io, and Test, where you can actually just go on the platform and easily, select a creator and work with them. And so what we do and what we did for this e-commerce business is they already had an emphasis on getting content from their customers via UGC or UGC style content. All we did is is support them by streamlining the process of getting UGC, right? So figuring out more ways besides just sending out a simple email to their customers, getting to get more UGC. So we would help them with things like putting together some of these like contests, incentivizing people to share their content with them, and then giving them a discount or store credit, helping them with their product seeding, right? Getting more strategic about who they should send their products to. So one of the things that we'll do is, we'll look at content creators that are getting good reach and have them make sure that they're sending them products, or we'll look for specifically like good affiliates on TikTok, and then we'll have them reach out to those affiliates to also create some kind of partnership. Ideally, I like, for external content creation, I like having like regular creators that you work with, whether it's paid or that you get from seeding. But I also like to have ones that you work with on a commission only basis, right? Where they're getting incentivized based on the sales that they generate. What we typically do here is we basically will go out, and literally what we did for this e-commerce business is we went out and looked through TikTok Shop, and we found relevant affiliates that were already promoting products similar to their products, that had already successfully generated consistent sales for other products on TikTok Shop. And then we created a list of them. We shared it with the business, and then they reached out to them to set up partnerships with these affiliates where they're paying them a set retainer plus commission. And what this did for them is they now have had a consistent way to get new content every single month from these creators. And these creators, they also have a guaranteed set amount of income that they're getting each and every single month. So they're obviously posting and creating content. And then they're also getting commissions for any sales that are driven from their content. So it's literally a win-win, right? And so that's probably one of my favorite ways to source external content. But yeah, I mean, these are the main ways that we go about supporting all of the e-commerce businesses that we work with. But for this in particular business, really what we supported them on is re-strategizing how they were sourcing the UGC, supporting them on doing product seeding and how they should go about it, finding the right affiliates and content creators to work with on an ongoing basis, and then also sharing insights on different things that are working across the board, things like TikTok live shopping and those kind of things that are more cutting edge. And so those are the main things that we supported this e-commerce business with, and how we were able to get the kind of results that we did. This is how we were able to get all the content. And so now the more important piece is that once you have a way to get content internally as well as external content, really what we're doing is we're then taking the top performing content, and then, we're coming down here and we're scaling with paid ads, right? So obviously like I said, majority of the sales that was generated last month for this in particular business came from paid ads. And the way that we go about paid ads is our focus is majority on content and the creatives, right? However, we're not just randomly testing. We are taking a very strategic approach to how we go about running paid ads. And so one of the first things that we do is we look at, okay, well, what kind of content is working well organically, right? We look at that, and then we start to get ideas, and we'll even test out content that's working well organically that we see is getting good engagement and is driving sales, like from TikTok Shop. And we'll test that as an ad right away. And we're seeing a very high hit rate on content that is just an organic piece of content that just happens to do well organically. Those videos, more times than not, are also doing well as a paid ad without making any edits. And so we're doing things like that. And then the next thing that we're doing is, we're putting together something that looks like this, where we have different ad creatives that are either ready to test, in progress, or that we've identified as a winner or a loser. And typically this is what our overall ad optimization flywheel looks like. We first roll out a strategic test, right? Nothing random, like we're going based on actual insights. Then from there, we'll look at, okay, well, how did it perform, right? What was the ROAS? What was the CPA? What was our conversion rate, et cetera? Whatever does not perform, we'll cut it and we'll make a note of that. We'll document it. Whatever does work, we'll look to scale, right? And then we'll collect the data of what did work, and then we'll get back to the drawing board, right? And create new strategic tests, right? And this is typically how we go about ads for all platforms, for Meta, for Google, everything, right? We have a very strategic approach, but most of our efforts when it comes to paid social specifically is on the creatives. We are not taking the time to have like a super complicated ad account structure, or like have these crazy campaigns, or like do a bunch of testing on these, different variables that don't make a difference. Like majority of our efforts are on the actual creatives themselves. In my opinion, this is where majority of the efforts should be for any e-commerce business that's running paid ads. And so, I mean, this is typically how we go about it. And so overall, like really the reason I wanted to have a big emphasis on the importance of organic content or just content creation in general is because really creating content contributes to basically many different areas within the business, right? It contributes to the ads that you can then run on paid social. It contributes to the performance that you then get on paid search. It contributes to content that you can then use for email marketing. It contributes to traffic that then goes to your Amazon. And so because of this, I wanted to take the time to kind of document of exactly what we did to really help this e-commerce business generate these kind of results. And hopefully this is helpful for anybody that's out there that's running an e-commerce business that's currently struggling. Again, I had this conversation too many times, which is why I wanted to put together this video. And so ideally, I wanted to kind of break this all down because in my opinion, if you're an e-commerce business and you're struggling or you're stuck at like $300,000 in sales or less, more times than not, really what needs to be done is really scaling the overall efforts that's placed on content, both on internal content creation and external content creation. And then, really once you're here at this level at $5 million or $10 million a year, then what's required is literally just more of this, right? Like I have a friend of mine that actually runs an e-commerce business that does anywhere from $2 to $3 million per month. And he gave me a full breakdown for them to manage their current performance, which again is between $2 and $4 million a month. They have to invest $40,000 on content creation and invest $40,000 on content creation. And this is a combination of things like content creators, creative strategist. They also work with an in-house video editor. They also work with creative agencies. And this is a breakdown of what they're investing that 40K on, right? They're investing in on all of these. And then with this, they are getting roughly 100 new creatives a week. And they're testing all these creatives, right? And this is what they have to do at this level of scale to be able to basically handle this volume of scale, right? This is for full transparency. Like this is literally the full breakdown. Because when you're spending the amount of ad dollars that it takes to generate, $2 to $4 million in sales per month, you have to get very aggressive with the amount of creatives that you are creating on an ongoing basis. Because what happens is a lot of your content and creatives quickly burn out, they get fatigued, they stop performing, and you need to instantly have a new batch of creatives to go right away. Because even if you have one down day of a creative that's underperforming, that's still running, and you don't have anything to replace it, well, that can be a big impact on the business, right? You can have a big red day where, all your ad spend was unprofitable. And obviously you don't want to be in a position where you need to wait to get more content made to start making up for that loss of performance of that day. And so, yeah, I mean, really, in my opinion, to get, from here to here, these are some of the things you can do at like medium scale, but really to even scale from here further, it just takes doing the same things, but just at scale. So one last thing I wanted to cover is another example of an e-commerce business that's putting a very big emphasis on content and basically, doing a lot of what I just covered and the results that they're currently getting. So here we have Hello data pulled up. As you can see, we're currently looking at the top performing TikTok shops in the last 30 days. We have Goalie here, which in the last 30 days, they have generated $5.5 million. In the last 30 days, you can see that they've had 39,000 new videos created by their affiliates. On average, they have 1,300 new videos that are created per day. So you can see that, in order to get these kind of numbers that they're getting, how aggressive they have to go with content, right? And so, obviously, when we look at the breakdown, majority of the revenue is coming from the top affiliates, right? Like for example, this affiliate alone, her videos generated $450,000. And then of course they're running ads behind all the videos, as you can see, but it still goes to show that it takes a significant amount of volume and scale and efforts and energy on content to really break through and like generate these kind of numbers that you hear about, right? And so I wanted to quickly cover that because again, I just want to kind of showcase different examples. I want to show you guys the results that I'm currently getting myself internally for the e-commerce businesses that I work with. I want to give you guys a reference of like other e-commerce brands that I know and like what's it taking for them to kind of scale. And then I want to show you guys practical examples of how this is also being done like on TikTok Shop, for example. And so that's basically everything that I wanted to cover for this video. If you're an e-commerce business and you're looking to get help with growing your business with organic content and paid ads, Down below in the description, there's a link where you can actually book in a call with me and my team. On that call, we'll get to know more about you and your business. And from there, we'll put together an action plan going over how we can help you grow your business. As usual, if you guys liked the video, make sure you drop a like. If you have any questions about anything that I covered in the video, drop it down in the comments below. And of course, if you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. With that said, I'll see you guys in the next one.